I don't want to set the world on fire.
Welcome once again, everyone, to the Foally of Man. My name is Chris. With me today,
And I'm Robert.
and we're here to talk about Fallout Equestria from the perspective of a person who loves My Little Pony and a person who doesn't really have any affiliation with My Little Pony.
No.
So,
But Fallout, I got a lot with Fallout.
yeah, so we're just seeing how it
Yeah.
holds up and everything else. So, right to it. Today we're looking at Chapter 13, Voices of the Past. It's a ghost story. They're all made up.
So first and foremost, I wanted to apologize that we missed a week there for Memorial Day. Things just got a little bit
We
too
wore
hectic.
ourselves out. It's just,
Yeah.
it was honest. There was just too much going on. It just,
You know, sun's out, guns out. That's how it goes.
yeah, it didn't work out too well.
You should see Chris. He's a menace on the beach. You know, stomping on castles, stealing people's ladies. That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Although the Speedo really showed off your cutie mark well.
Yes.
I thought that was nice. I thought that was good. Although it's binary, so I don't know what it says. 10110101110.
really technically long cutie mark.
Yeah, well, it'd be like a square. You know, it'd be like a pixel. So, But anyway, so in this week's chapter, we start book number 2 of Fallout Equestria, and this is the aftermath of fighting Mr. Topaz and Shattered Hoof and the camp Shattered Hoof.
Yeah, and we meet, and we intro with talking to God about how she wants the contents of the vault.
And there's kind of a quiet respect that that little Pip has for Gaudina.
Yeah. I mean,
It's like so she despises God, but also kind of respects her on some level honesty.
yeah. I mean, there's a certain amount of virtue to her.
Yeah.
In that she is
That's an interesting question. What would you say God's virtue is?
honesty. I mean, really. I mean, there's a tiny bit of a loyalty aspect, but that's instantly shattered by the fact that she just completely and totally.
So I have a question. A little bit of a spoiler for the summary, but since we now have a ministry of awesome,
Mm-hmm.
is awesome a virtue? Because if it's
No.
not, it should be. Awesome should be a virtue.
Morale was not a virtue.
All right, so let's get into the wrap-up. So little Pip is thinking, well, we could actually build a life here. You know, we could actually rebuild. We could be a part of this. Could be a home base we could come to. And Velvet Remedy and Calamity are not about that at all. They just have no interest. They're ready to move on.
Yeah, and I mean, Little Pip's also ready to move on because they're not quite finished. They still have to figure out what the hell's going on.
So we also take possession of a memory orb and experience what a memory orb is, where you kind of see from the first-person perspective an event in time.
First pony perspective.
First pony perspective. All right, cut me some slack. All right, so a first pony perspective, which is limiting because you are only able to experience what that pony observed and experienced.
Yeah, it's from their perspective, and if I remember right, you kind of feel their emotions, but
Yeah, the way it was described, yeah, you can kind of feel their experience, but you're still detached.
yeah, I
from
mean,
it
you're
in a
still
way.
your own thoughts.
You're an
kind of thing.
observer. And also, we're now headed towards Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we meet a merchant,
Mm-hmm.
a tradesman who actually has a little outpost. Then we find out that Velvet Remedy is quite a huckster.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Selling a fake magical spear, essentially, or overselling the magical spear.
Yes.
And even using sex to her advantage.
Yeah.
Velvet Remedy used sex as a weapon.
Is sexuality a virtue?
That's a good question. Only you could answer that. I have no idea. So, all right, so we have some new virtues to suggest. We have awesome and sex.
And morale, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And so they get some medical supplies that they need. We also, so I was having a little bit of a hard time understanding. So Calamity has discovered a new way to travel around the wasteland.
Yep.
What exactly was it?
It's a sky cart.
A sky cart.
Think of the cars from like the Corvega,
Yeah.
or the Bandit.
Okay.
The Highwayman.
But it's also very volatile because it's, not nuclear powered, spell powered.
Yeah, magical.
Yeah,
powered.
okay. I have to keep remembering in that perspective that it's magic.
Yeah.
But it's also, what did he say? A flux something. It just needed a new flux something, and then they could jet
Flux
around.
regulator.
But basically, it introduces.
What it wasn't a flux capacitor. Don't think that.
it introduces the concept of fast travel. So no more having to slog around.
Yeah.
Although, however, Calamity's experience with things like this has, means of locomotion other than his own wings, not so good in the past.
No. And even with his own wings, it was kind of...
Train cart careening down a mountain uncontrollably. Apple cart got shot out of the air.
Yeah.
So not a good history with that per se. We also find out that when Calamity finally agrees to take off his battle saddle for Velvet Remedy to give him a full medical treatment or workover, that he not only doesn't have a cutie mark, but his cutie mark has been branded over. And we learn a little bit more about the Pegasi as well as Rainbow Dash's Ministry of Awesome.
Yes.
And that Rainbow Dash abandoned the Pegasi.
Yep. Abandoned the Pegasi in the sky, said, fuck y'all. I'm helping the people on the ground. Yeah.
And then that's where we left off, basically. Yep. So what were your thoughts of this chapter?
It's great. Now, no, we didn't leave off there. We left off when we got to Steelhoof's shack.
Oh, right, Steelhoof's shack.
We meet the 3 Alicorn pseudo goddesses.
That's correct. Yeah, no train cars nearby to drop on their heads. They're becoming a more common nuisance, as we see.
Yeah, and you'll actually learn way more about them in the next chapter, as well. There's some fantastic things, but yeah, that's where we leave off, is introducing to the to more Alicorn pseudo goddesses, as the book calls them, or as Pip calls them.
Gotcha. Only time will tell about that. So I think that's the summary of the episode. Next segment we have is the pony
pun
of the week. So, Christopher.
Yes, Christopher.
This week's pony pun of the week is the Pony Neigh Station.
Neigh Station.
The Pony Neigh Station.
Available now from fine electronics retailers near you.
So, you were a witness to this. I'm sure someone else already came up with this at some point, but did I not come up with this on my own?
I'm ashamed to say you did.
We were just driving down the road, and I don't know. But the funny thing is that because we were driving, you thought I meant like a way station, like
I thought it was like a truck way station, because I was like, a pony way station,
Yeah, but no, the Pony Neigh Station, the most popular gaming console in Equestria. No other reaction than that.
Nah.
All right. Well, I say we get into some of our listener questions. How about that?
Sure.
All right. Walter White, a common questioner, he says, here, a question for the both of yous. Given your current opinions of Fallout Equestria, if KCAT ever published an official sequel of similar length, or someone else did and KCAT gave it her seal of canonical approval, wouldn't you say it's her stamp of approval? Stampede approval?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you be inclined to read it?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, well, I'm only a fifth of the way through her first canonical piece. Yeah, I'd be open to the idea of it. Why not?
My answer on this is a little bit yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
If you're a fan of this book and you like the other fan fictions, why would you suddenly be like, well, I liked KCAT before she got all commercial, man, and sold out and kept making more of the things I enjoy? I've never understood that.
Yeah.
Like with musicians. All right. Oh, they went too commercial. I don't like their music. But okay. But if you can acknowledge that they're the same musicians and they're still making good music, you just don't like that other people like it. What's wrong? If you like the music, enjoy the music. More people are making that music.
But yes, no. I mean, there was a thing a while ago where an artist, Peace he's changed his name since, did like these snippet screenshots of what he thought Fallout Equestria 2 would look like. And holy crap, everyone was like, yes, please. Yes. And I agree. Yes.
All right. Next question comes from Stargear, and we have one hell of a paragraph here, so I'm just going to stick to the question and not necessarily the diatribe afterward. You can kind of get the gist.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen this comment. And not that there's anything wrong with the comment. It's just we don't have time to read all of it. All right. Question to Chris. When did you stop watching the show, and how do you know the new episodes are bad if you haven't seen them?
Aha! I stopped watching the show at season 5. Actually, at the end of season 5. I haven't caught up on 6 or 7 because I watched a few episodes of season 6 where people were like, "This episode's really great," and I actually decided to watch it, and I was like, "It's okay." I don't dedicate the time to it. I just don't. So yeah, I watched through most of all but 3 not the last 3 episodes, but 3 of the last episodes, because I did see the final of the season. Yeah.
What would you say now? I've read in the comments as well that K-Cat is a fan of season 6, and apparently she thinks season 6 was one of the best seasons.
I may have to visit it, but I've watched 2 episodes from it, and I was just, You
heard it here. Chris says meh.
I'm Ned all over the table.
To the mainstream My Little Pony. Is it because it moved around too much? I know it moved around channels and there's been some change in creative development, right?
Yeah, there has been. That's part of it. It's as well the character's position in the world space kind of changed.
Gotcha.
And I'll show it to you, because I think we may, if we decide to do a thing where I show you a few choice episodes to give you a hint. I can show you this kind of build up and downfall in my perspective of what happened with the show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Excellent. Which leads us into some other ideas, because people had mentioned in the past being interested in, watching episodes and reviewing episodes. Now there's a couple ways we could do that. We could watch it and just do a short little talk, or we could do a basic cable commentary where you line up what we're talking to the episode itself. I mean, I don't know. Any suggestions y'all have towards that? We'd love to, if you're interested in watching it, we'd love to make the content for you to watch.
And we could watch season 6.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh boy.
K-Cat loves season 6, so it must be worth a try, right?
I guess.
If it's good enough for K-Cat, it's good enough for us. All right. K-Cat also has a question about if you've played the game Impalu, which means nothing to me.
Hold on.
She said it was a side-scrolling.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yes, I actually have played it. I played it when it was first announced on the sub, when one of the early versions, and it's changed, but for some reason I couldn't get the controls to work on this most recent version. I don't know why.
Huh.
But yeah, no, I've played it. It's actually quite enjoyable. I hope to see more of it in the future. It's a side-scrolling Fallout Equestria shooter. So your little platformer thing.
You're saying that your supercomputer couldn't handle a little Flash game?
Yeah, just for some reason didn't want to work.
It's not very user-friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions.
It's mid-development.
That's all the questions that we have for this week.
Actually, I think we have one more. I
want
to be certain, but I think we have.
Well, there were other questions, but they were lots of the spoilery type wrap-up questions. I went through.
Oh yeah,
That
one's better for much later.
This is some great pod.
Yeah, great.
Dead air.
Beautiful.
Looking at questions on the YouTube channel. That's the kind of professionalism you have come to expect from Crisco.
Well, they're still here, and we've done it before, so clearly this is the best part of the show.
We have at least 100 people that tend to come back every single week. So
next time we're just going to have a video of us staring at our phones. It'll be great.
Oh boy, I'm pretty sure that the viewership will tank immediately. Speaking of the viewership, thanks y'all for your patience this last week. And now, in fairness, if you follow us on Twitter, which is, I forgot to put the taglines. You'll see our Twitter handle here. You'll also see the YouTube handle here. You'll see that kind of other ways to reach out to us down here at the bottom of the screen. But if you follow us on Twitter, you'll actually see that I made an announcement about the episode being canceled. And I'll be honest, I don't use Twitter a bunch myself, so a secondary channel or a secondary account that we're using specifically for the channel, it's not going to have a ton of retweets and stuff, but it is a good way for us to get out news about the show, and I always post episodes and updates there. There will be a little bit of a change in scheduling moving forward, but we'll have announcements of that coming up as we get to it. Let's see here. Anything else? Thank you so much for listening. Those of you listening on the podcast apps, you've got iTunes and Google Play and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And for those of you watching on YouTube, thanks again for your viewership. Again, don't forget to ask your listener questions, and if you have a suggestion for the show, we'd love to hear it. I think you and I both are going to try and engage a little bit more in the comments instead of just liking them. We don't want to give away too much of what. We don't want to give up what the next episode stuff's going to be. So if we get into too much discussion on the board, especially for me, I hesitate to get into the discussion because I don't want spoilers. But we are going to be engaging with the comment section a whole lot more. So, anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, for Chris, I am Robert. You have tuned into the Foally of Man, and we will see y'all next week. Brought to you by Carisco. Yeah.
It's all over, but the cry